Hi and welcome back to the Polymer Clay channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Mother's Day card. It's going to have some nice flowers on it and it's going to have some nice writing and it's going to be great. So here we go. Okay, this is what I'm going to start with today. So I'll just go through the clay. So I've got some yellow here and this is Fimo Soft in Sunflower. And then I've got some mixed pink and I've got some red which has got some sparkly bits in it. These two are basically just scrap, so they don't have a number, but this is basically like a red with some white in it, and then this is several blocks of some glittery red that I had left over. And I've also got a little bit of green here, and again this is a little bit of scrap that I've got. I like to use scrap if I can. Obviously all clay is usable over and over, so it's worth to sort of keep hold of what you've got for future projects. And I've got a little bit of green here and I'm going to turn that into little stems and little leaves, and I'll show you what I can do with that and how effective they are on a card. So I've got some cards here that I got from a local card shop. These ones have got a little oval shape in them. I think they're quite nice. So you can make the design on the front, and then obviously that part underneath, you when you open the card you won't be able to see the back, which is really important. Then it comes with envelopes as well, so you can get yourself a little pack. That works out quite simple. And then I've got some mica powders, and these are all just basically matching colours. So I've got some red, gold, pink and green, and then I've got some highlighting colour of bronze for the writing. And finally my tools. So I've got the little scoop here that I use for glitter, which I don't actually have out at the moment, but I certainly will be using some. Then I've got my red plastic tool, my two dotting tools, craft knife and an acrylic roller. So that's what we're using today. So here we go. So before you begin, I recommend getting a tile that you can move about, and this will go straight in the oven. This is handy if you're working on a surface like this that you can't move. You're then going to have to pick everything up, so it's really important to have something you can just pop everything on and put it straight in the oven. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how to create these stems. Very easy, as nice as thin as you can or as thick as you want. It really doesn't have to be this thin. You can make them in tiny little pieces. You can make them in tiny little lengths, or you can make them in slightly bigger lengths. So what I would do, I'll show you in a slightly thicker length. Just cut it off from where you want to. If you want the ends to be a little bit more pointed, just roll to the edge and then they will slightly point. And that is simple as that. You just literally bake them as many as you need on one tile and have them so that they're baked and ready to go on your design. And I recommend doing it this way because then you can make the stems where you want them to go, basically. So that's as simple as that. So that's the start of that one. So what I'm going to do now is just condition some clay and show you how to make the little roses. So this is nice and conditioned now. I'm just going to press it down. It doesn't have to be particularly neat. It's always handy to have a tissue blade ready. And once you've got them to a flat design, use one end and then roll up to as much as you want the flower to be. Pinch it off at the side and bring it down. And it's as simple as that. So I'm just going to do a few more now. Okay, so I've mixed pink and some white together and that's given me this really nice marbled effect. It's not very strong marble, I just wanted something that wasn't completely plain. I'm just going to get a stamp now So I've got the pink and the white mixed together, which has given me a lighter pink, and it's got sort of a marbled effect, so it's really quite nice. And what I'm going to do is just use this texture roller just to go over and give some texture, and then I'll be popping the mica powders on the back here and then the flowers. Now for the little stems that I've already pre-cooked, I'm just going to pop these in. Polymer clay that has been baked can be cut, so I'm just going to trim some of these down as well, just so it gets the look that I'm wanting for all of them, and then I'll pop the flowers on. Okay, because these are baked already, I'm just going to pop a little liquid Fimo on this part here so that it sticks together and it stays in place as to where I want it. You won't see this because I'm going to pop a little bow on the bottom there as well, so you haven't got to worry about what it looks like, but it does keep the stems in place, particularly sort of where you're putting them in the place you want to, and it keeps them still as well. And then once it's baked, it's extra security and you won't even notice it's there. Okay, so I'm going to pop the roses on now. Okay, I'm just going to show you how I do the bow. So it's 5 individual parts, so there'll be one for each of the bow, the middle part, and then these two. I'm going to show you how they do that. So I'm just going to do the middle part first, across here. Now I'm going to create the bows. And then the middle part. So with this part, it needs to tuck under. So I'm just going to lift it, turn it upside down, slightly push inside, and then pinch the middle bit together. And then pop the bow shape out a little bit more so it's got a bit more bow shape to it. Okay, so that's the bow. I'm just going to do the end pieces, and these are quite simple. I'm just going to use this bit here because it's a bit longer. Just going to stretch it out a little bit so that it's similar sort of in length. I'm going to cut 2 pieces and then cut a little V shape for either end. And pop these on first. And then push the bow on top. Once it's in place, I like to give it a little move about so you can have it come up a little bit here, and then this one could be a bit flatter. I like to give it a bit more motion so it looks more like a ribbon. And there we go, that's how you do a ribbon. I'm just going to add some glitter now. Okay, I've got some glitter here, it's quite a holographic look to it, so it's really pretty. So I'm just going to use my little scoop and then pop it in all the little gaps. As I've put some of the liquid Fimo on, it will naturally stick in the gaps where I've put it. So I just like to pop it all around the flowers and sparkle them right up. Make them look really pretty. And then where they're loose, just press them down slightly. This is quite thick glitter, so it won't naturally stick to anything, unless of course you don't want it to, and then it will stick everywhere. So I'm just going to pop some up here, press it down, and then some here. Not too much, just so it gives a bit of a glimmer and brightens the design up, and then of course a little bit on the bow. Right, so these little leaves are very easily created. I'll just show you how I do those. I have pre-baked these ones because I find them sometimes a lot easier to make them and then pop them in the design after, but I'll show you how I do them. So it's literally just roll up a little piece of clay into a little ball, and press. Once you've got it into a thickness that you're looking for, take a knife and just carve a leaf shape. Press it down. I always like my edges to be softer, so I don't like them to be sharp, so I always soften them up, but you don't have to. And then with a blunt tool, make a mark. And again, I like to make lots of lines, but you don't have to. And that is how they're made. And I would either bake these before or after, it really does depend on what you'd want to do, and then just pop them on where you want them to go, and they look absolutely great. So I'm just going to pop these ones on now. Now if you do want them to stand up and be quite secure, I do recommend making them first so they're hard, and then basically what you can do is stick them right in the clay, in the base, and then they look like a really excellent 3D effect. And if you want them to lay down a little bit and you're popping hard clay on soft clay, I do recommend using some of the liquid Fimo. Basically it just acts like glue and it's very simple to use. So I'm just going to pop some on the bottom of this one and then slot it in, and it'll be nice and secure when it's baked. Okay, so I'm going to move on and do the lettering for the card now. Okay, so I've got some black clay out. I'm just going to make the lettering for the card now, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to spell Happy Mother's Day, and this is going to be on the card at the top and at the bottom. So I'm just going to start with the lettering. I want the writing to be fairly skinny because I don't have an awful lot of room to put anything else on the card, and it's just about going along with the lettering. And I like to do it on the tile so it stays where it is, and as I'm popping the letters together it shows basically how quick it is really. So there's the H and the A done. So I make them together so I can see size wise how they're going to look, and then I know that they're going to be a good size for the card as well. And obviously I'm doing a mixture of upper and lowercase, and this is also a good way of making sure that you get all the sizes right as well. So I'm just doing the P. Now I do the Y slightly differently, so I'll make that sort of shape and then I cut it here, flip it round, make sure it's obviously the same width, so just make that a bit more skinny, cut that off so it's a blunt end, match it up. And as this is a little bit bigger, I'm just going to trim that top off there. And I'm going to have a little happy swirly design on the Y, because I think that looks really pretty. I'm going to have that come across there. So I'm just going to make the rest of the letters now to spell Mother's Day. Okay, so that's lettering done. I'm happy with how these letters have turned out. They're all similar sort of size. Don't worry too much if you do find that some of them are a little bit bigger than the others, because it's art and no one can be perfect. So what I'm going to do now is just add some mica powders just to shimmer these letters up a little bit, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. And there we go, nice and simple. Okay, so this is all cured now and out of the oven. I'm just releasing them off the tile at the back there, just so they will move around freely and I can check to make sure that they're all going to stay, and to check to make sure that they're all going to stay in place, which they all look like they are, so that's great. What I'm going to do now is have a look at the card and start placing the letters where I think I want them to go, and then I can stick them on. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial, had a lot of fun as I always do. I'm just going to show you what it looks like now. So that's Happy at the top. Happy's a little wonky, unfortunately, because I made the little long bits a bit too long, but hey ho, it's art. And then Mother's Day at the bottom and all the pretty flowers. So that is how you make a Mother's Day card from polymer clay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.